Kailua Oahu, Hawaii Mau, Amo. Hello everyone, and thank you all for joining us today at Martin Library of Science as we open the Native Voices, Native Peoples Concepts of Health and Illness exhibit and begin Native American Heritage Month here at FNM. My name is Carly Dorego. I'm a junior anthropology major with a geoscience minor, mainly focused on archaeology of indigenous peoples. I was born and raised on the island of Oahu in Hawaii, and am Native Hawaiian. Being part Native Hawaiian, my ancestors were some of the first Polynesians from Tahiti to sail across the Pacific Ocean thousands of years ago, using the stars as maps to find Hawaii. I graduated from St. Andrews Priory in Honolulu, founded by Queen Amalani Rook of the Kingdom of Hawaii. Needless to say, my Native Hawaiian heritage and identity are central to my everyday life and studies, even though I'm in Pennsylvania, and I know a lot of you guys can say that. However, around this time last year, I was the only Native Hawaiian student at FNM, and over the past 2 years here, I've had many students stereotype my culture and identity. You see, I came to FNM already knowing that there would be little to no knowledge about my homeland and indigenous culture, which has surprised me were the misconceived notions of what a real Native Hawaiian should look like. Responses I would give on a daily basis kind of sounded like this. No, I live in a house, not a hut. Yes, I know some Hawaiian, but English is the most common language. Yes, Native Hawaiians are truly living in the present and are still around today. I've come to realize the hegemonic belief is that Native Hawaiians are frozen in time. However, this is definitely not the case. As the islands of Hawaii evolved from a kingdom to a territory and then finally to a state, Native Hawaiians also adapted. My people have shown remarkable resilience against oppression and a loss of culture. On the contrary, this Native Hawaiian cultural narrative is invisible to most students here at FNM, and this is where the exhibit can help us as a community. Franklin and Marshall has been honored to have received this exhibit through hard work of many members of the community. And over the next month, education will help dispel myths and remedy this invisibility of Native people, their culture, and history. This amazing exhibit will not only discuss the practices that Native communities have been engaging with for thousands of years, but also stress the importance of Indigenous agency and presence within society. I challenge you all as members of the FNM community to engage with the exhibit to fight racism, bigotry, and misconceptions that you may hear in the future, of course, like the upcoming 4 years. Take cultural and historical classes that challenge American history, rise to the occasion, and most importantly, become an ally to Native people in our country in hopes of creating a more visible, modern day, and accurate image of what it means to be an Indigenous person in America today. Now Darren Ranko, our Common Hour speaker from earlier today, will say a few words about the exhibit. Thank you all for listening, and mahalo.
Well, it can be hard to follow. For sure. Well, thank you all for inviting me to this, and I'm not all that directly familiar with the exhibit. I did look at it online a couple of times, and it is an excellent exhibit. It follows very well with my talk today. It has a great amount of content, actually. I think there's hundreds of it, something like 100 plus interviews with people. And what you see is a great diversity of what's going on in Native communities. There's a broad set of kind of ethnographic or cultural contexts, Hawaii being one of them, but there are a number of others that show you both the differences, which are productive in their own sense of different cultural traditions working on healing and illness and trying to redefine that in our own terms as Indigenous people. And it's that commonality that is also quite interesting, quite important to think about, right? Legacies of colonization as an impact on our health collectively, and what tools we have, how we can work together through different healing traditions, both our own traditional medicines, but also Western healing traditions. And it really comes down to us as Native people dictating how that goes, and those having that sense of choice and agency, as Carly mentioned, is actually one of the greatest things about health outcomes that health researchers say, is that when people feel a sense of choice and agency in their own systems of health, be they at the individual or community level, the outcomes are that much better for the people. So that's what I think is such a great, hopeful, if you look at individual, community, tradition, nature healing, all the things I talked about today is, you know, for us as Native people, so much of our healing traditions engage the natural world, but we're not just stuck in some time or place, as she mentioned, that there's this real kind of creative and healing aspect to what the people in these videos are talking about. So I think you're really lucky to have the exhibit, and happy to see you all here. So enjoy.
Thank you.